Ah, what a mess already. Welcome to the 32X Factor at Harrow Arts Centre, Earth. That's not meant to happen. Or is it meant to happen? I don't know. We have several contestants. I'd like them to come through and mind their heads on the support structure. Here's one. Please go to your assigned contestant seating. Should have made that tune longer. They will be introduced by name soon, but not yet. And hello. And we have 3 judges. I meant to hide the format, but I don't know what the format is. Can I have the judges, please? These ones I will name. This is Quang. To the judge sofa. There's Ash. There's another Chris. I'm going to hide this. Right, folks. Be comfy on the inflatable sofa. You might want to budge up because the contestant is going to want to sit here. Right, this is a show about video gaming regrets. Mostly bad purchases, but there may be other things. Ash, what is your gaming regret?
My gaming regret is back in 92 or 93. I went to the first Games Master live show at the NEC.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been saving up all my pennies from a paper round, and I was like, I'm going to get a good game. I think I only had the Game Boy at the time, so it was limited, but I was looking around and I saw all these Japanese imports, and already had a few Japanese imports. I love the small boxes and I love the art style. And I saw a box, and it said Bart versus the Space Mutants for the Game Boy.
Konami when they were good.
Well, here's the thing. Bart versus the Space Mutants never came out for the Game Boy. What I actually ended up spending all my pennies on was a hooky copy of Bart Simpson Escape from Camp Deadly, which crashed at the end of the second level every time. And so even when I sold my Game Boy in saving up for a PlayStation, I still had this game because, of course, no one would take a bootleg copy of Bart Escape from Camp Deadly that said it was the Space Mutants.
And do you still have it to this day?
No, it perished in a household flood that destroyed many, many beloved items, but also got rid of that cursed atrocity.
It's a small mercy.
It was a sacrifice worth making.
Okay, alphabetical order, Chris.
I had a 32X. I had a Mega CD. I don't regret the Mega CD. I had enough good games for it. The 32X, I had Doom and Virtua Racing Deluxe and nothing else. And I couldn't really justify having it.
That seems to be what I understand of the 32X.
Basically,
it's an unjustifiable purchase.
That was the thing. And essentially that turned me off of Sega. I never bought another Sega product after that. And I not only that I shunned console gaming, that was it for me. And I went to the PC after that. I just was too burnt. So Sega's folly was responsible for my turning away from console gaming.
I understand. All right then, Quang, regret me do.
Yes. I would say regretting meeting Mr. Biffo at an event and then getting involved in this, but
yes.
You know what?
It was a slippery slope.
It's been fun. Probably the biggest regret is when we were kids, me and my older brother had a ZX Spectrum. And do people remember the Home Computer Club? Where they promised you could order 3 full-price games for 99 pence. That's quite a deal. But it meant then you had to buy a full-price game every month for the rest of a minimum of a year. We were, I don't know, I think I was 10, my brother was 12. So you had to be 18 to sign up to this. So together we colluded that we would forge my dad's signature. Because we were convinced we can afford this. We can afford one game a month. Surely we can. We managed, I think, 3 months in, and then we were like, Dad, we don't have any money left, and they want us to buy games. And so, yeah, that was probably my biggest regret.
Well, there we are. Are you ready to meet our first contestant who will talk about his 32X?
Yes.
Yes, well, you're going to have to be, because otherwise we're just going to stall right here. Otherwise, it's the wild man, John Wilding. Come and join us on the sofa. Oh, hang on, don't join us on the sofa.
Sorry.
Oh my God, it's former Sega of US of America head Tom Kalinkse. What are you doing here, Tom?
Unfortunately, I have to inform you that this format is totally obsolete. And there's a license problem, and you'll have to stop straight away.
We can't use the 32X name.
You can't use the 32X name nor the format that you had in mind. I'm sorry, it's...
All right, everyone, back through the curtain.
There we go. Thank you.
Mind your head on the support structure.
Don't knock it over.
Come on, you lot as well. Sorry, everyone. We'll retool. We'll be back.
I didn't sign anything. So.
Although, congrats on that. You used to work at Mattel, so congrats on that Barbie movie, Kalinkse.
You as well. Sorry, I have to leave the stage.
I'm off.
Ladies, gentlemen, sorry about this, but that's the way licensing works.
Welcome to Saturn's Got Talent. Please join me. 5 contestants and 3 judges. Mind your head on the support structure. In you come. To your assigned seats, please. I've lost count already. Do we have everyone? Yeah. Head down. Head down. There we go. Right. Everything I said before stands apart from the name of the show. It's now Saturn's Got Talent. John Wilding, where does he go? Come here and talk about a 32X. I'm going to go away and drink some water. Judges, it's your time to shine.
Are we allowed to mention the name 32X? Oh no, I've said it now.
I think as long as it's not in the title of the show, we're fine.
Yeah. Well, that was a strange one. I had to do some research before I came on because I'd forgotten what year it was, but no, I found out I'm more angry than I was to begin with. See, I thought it was 93 Christmas, and so there were 18 months till the Saturn came out, but no, it was Christmas 94, so there was about 6 months. And basically that's my big issue with it, was it was sort of a rip-off really, let's be honest. A way to get money as a stopgap till they finish the Saturn, I guess, but so if you can picture this as me being a 12-year-old, just turned 12, Christmas morning, very excited that my mother had bought me, and my parents in general, had bought me this brilliant shiny new box. And I'm going to open it and I'm going to put it into my Mega Drive, because I was a Sega guy, I was always a Sega guy, and now looking back I can say Mario had the better games, but I will maintain that Sonic is cooler. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I know it plugs into the top of my Mega Drive, so I'm thinking that's simple enough, right? So then I unbox it, and there's some kind of metal things that look like Richard Keel's teeth in the James Bond films. And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do with these? And so apparently they're supposed to go into the cartridge slot on the Mega Drive. Problem is they won't stay where they're supposed to be, and they're moving around. And I'm autistic. I probably have dyspraxia. I'm not very good with my fingers. I can't get them in. So then I have to ask my mother to do it, and of course she has no clue what's going on. And so that was Christmas ruined. But and then the only sort of reason we got it was for Doom, because my PC was so old at that point that it wouldn't run it very well. I mean, Doom isn't that massive of a game, but I mean it really wasn't in a very good state. So that there was no hope of a new computer, far too expensive. So I thought, finally, all my friends are on about Doom all the time. I can play it, and I don't have to mess around with all the shareware and stuff that I can't get hold of. And I've got it all on one game. And of course, then I find out there are bits missing. So that didn't work out well. It was the best thing about it was the Star Wars arcade port. That was pretty good. But then there was this, was it Virtual Racing? That was pretty lame. I mean, I think the graphics were pretty much basically what the FX chip did in Nintendo's Star Fox cartridge, but in a separate machine that you have to pay a lot more money for. I'm guessing that's what it was. So yeah, it was a real disappointment. And then to find out, that 6 months later, here comes the Saturn, and it's like, well, what was this for then? So yeah, it was a big regret.
Audience, you are going to be voting on these at the end, so do remember to take notes.
As someone who loves all hardware from all the consoles, I think this 32X is wonderful. Yes, it's a bit of a weird child, but everyone's a bit weird. So not everyone could go out and buy a new console. Sometimes you're stuck with the console you have. I remember getting an 8-bit Nintendo well into the 16-bit era. So having a 16-bit Mega Drive and then being able to extend its life is quite a nice thing, I think. Were there any games that you actually enjoyed playing on your 32X?
Thank you. If I'm honest, the only games were Doom, because at least I could actually play it. The Virtual Racing was all right, but it was a bit like Scale X-Trick, but for computers, because it wasn't very interactive almost. It was a little bit like on rails, but to a degree. It didn't feel that great, but I'm trying to think now. That's the problem. There weren't any good games on. Not really. Certainly then the games dried up.
I just find the entire thing of the 32X fascinating because it is possibly the only time there has actually been a civil war within a video game company where you actually have two separate factions across the entire organization. And people like yourself are kind of stuck on the end where you go for something because you're being told it's the next big thing. And in those pre-internet days where only some magazines were covering the Saturn, not everyone would know how close the Saturn was. So I don't know if it's really a question, it's more just a kind of an empathy, I think, I remember, I was a Nintendo kid, but I remember seeing the Sega 32X and thinking, oh, that's a great idea. And I suppose it would have been if everyone at Sega had been on board and maybe they'd thought about forward compatibility. But no, that story actually that did hit me a bit because I'm just like, man, that sucks. So yeah. Sorry, I know we're meant to be questioning whether it's actually that bad, but I'm like, no, that is that bad. Like to have that build-up. The closest I can come to is in my CPC days, I got Pit Fighter for the CPC at Christmas, and it was my big present, so I had to sit there and play it all day. Yeah. I'm enjoying this so much.
But no, that's a big part of it. Obviously, when we were younger, we didn't have much money, and you would go out and buy games based on reviews or from what you heard. And no matter what you bought, you enjoyed it. Even if the game was terrible, you would play it from beginning to end because that's all you had. So you found enjoyment in it wherever you could. So I think people who had 32Xs managed to enjoy it until they binned it and got something new, but that might not have been for a few years.
If we're turning this into a support group, I'm with you on the strange metal prongs that you had to affix to the cartridge slot. They were like torture devices. I don't know what they were about. The Mega CD had the weird metal plates and everything as well. Yeah, bolting all this stuff onto your core Mega Drive just to play a few extra games with more polygons just seems weird. But yeah, the fiddliness of those metal bars, trying to get them to stay in, and it was like Buckaroo, and it'd be out again. So the delaying the moment of being able to see Doom in all its all the enemies are facing you at the same time when you see them glory. There seemed a lot to go through. So yeah, I'm with you.
All right then, John, that's lovely to hear from you. Please go back to the contestant area. John Wilding. Now, can we have Tom James, please? Tom James, the driver of the Digibus. Yay! Digibus!
Hello!
I do know what your sub-story is somewhere on this card, but I can't remember, so I'm going to leave it to you to introduce your problem.
Thanks. So, 1992, I was 8 years old, and we were still enjoying our classic ZX Spectrum. Let's put it in this way. Everyone's seen those memes, they turn up everywhere, where it's like, Mum, Dad, I want X. And Mum and Dad say, no, we've got X at home. And then you get the picture. Mum, Dad, I want an Amiga. No, we've got an Amiga at home. No, we really don't. But okay, we're stuck with this, fine. Anyway, right, 92. And I live in St Albans, and Hertfordshire Police had run a competition. Draw a poster to have St Albans City a safer city. That's what they wanted. They wanted a safer St Albans city centre. That was the campaign, and kids were to make a poster, and that's what they had to do. And it was brilliant, because it turned out there can't have been many children in St Albans, because my brother came first place, I came second place. Thank you very much, St Albans Police. And yeah, I've got the picture of my brother there receiving his lovely poster. And as you can see there, I'd like to believe that the police officer there and the women behind him are sitting there looking at him a little bit bewildered, because it doesn't quite scan right. It says, join the... I've forgotten what it said. Join something for a St Albans safer city centre, and it just doesn't scan right to me. So I'd like to think they're looking that slightly off. That maybe you should have put those words the other way round. Anyway, he still won. His prize, we got a tour around the police station. We all had our fingerprints taken. We got locked in a cell. Brilliant. And then there's little 8-year-old me holding a little brown envelope. It's not from evidence. It was a £5 Boots gift voucher. You know, those classic ones, they were embossed, they had that lovely metallic on them, they were gorgeous, they were brilliant. None of the gift card that you have to wonder how much is on it. I know how much I've got there, I know I'm not getting change. Anyway, next day we went to Boots and walked past those lovely Mega Drives, past the snares, over to the little corner of the wall that still had a shelving of ZX Spectrum games, and I poured over them. And Monty Mole was on there, Monty Mole on the Run to be precise, and that's what I bought. £5 handed over, no change back. It was the Kicks edition, so it was probably, £3, so I got no change out of that, thanks a lot. And went home to play it, and R-tape loading error. Okay, right, rewind. J, symbol shift, PP, right, enter, play, R-tape loading error. Hours went by. Changed the volume, still nothing. And then we eventually went down to Mum, Dad, the game doesn't work. And my parents, they are not technological people. They still aren't. This was our fault. We had done something to break this game, obviously. And no, we weren't going back to Boots to get a refund or replace it. So that's my regret. I got Monty Mole on the Run, and all we ever got was R-tape loading error. I never got to play it. I still haven't. So, yeah, it's a bit of a git, really.
It was a really good game.
Thanks. What I really want, though, I want to play the version that...
Can we hear more about how great Monty on the Run is?
Well, the Japanese one, wasn't it? It wasn't a mole. He was a little man trying to escape prison. So it's like, that sounds so much better. But the artwork was better. I remember the artwork. You got Monty. It looks like some shit's going down. He's running away from something. It looked amazing. That's probably why I bought it.
It's got a tracksuit on.
Exactly. It's proper 80s, 90s. It's golden. And I think the only thing to say about the story other than that was 5 years later getting a phone call from an embarrassed police station saying, can we have permission to destroy your 2 children's fingerprints? They've somehow ended up in our records. So, oops.
As someone who also has ZX Spectrum and experienced lots of R-tape loading errors, I feel your pain. So this was the choice you made with the gift voucher that you managed to win, which is wonderful. Do you think maybe were there any other games that you decided that you saw that you maybe would have gone for instead? Was it a choice? Was it always Bunty?
I think one of the biggest things about having this gift voucher and actually going to go and buy the game was, oh my God, we're going to own a game that's legitimate. I don't care what it is. It's going to have a sleeve. It's going to have instructions. We're not going to have to pretend to know what we're doing. So no, I don't think there was much of a choice. I think we could have chosen Scrabble. Yay. But you've got, as I said, it was 92. There was the Mega Drives out. There was the SNES were out in their the tower with their CRTs on, so you could go and play. It was a fond place for me and my mates to go out on Saturday until they hid the controllers away. It used to take an hour. Opening time, hour would pass, controllers disappeared. No more kids allowed to play. So it was a bit mean, but yeah, it was such a minimal selection of games at that point. I don't think really we had a choice. So unless I wanted to go and buy some beauty products, no, I think it was that and that alone.
I'm fascinated by the layers of disappointment here. Starting out, you didn't win the competition, you came second.
I got the better prize.
But then you didn't even get full value. You paid £3 and not getting the £2 change. You didn't go for a higher value item. And then, yeah, as a fellow Specky owner, I'm all too familiar with the R-tape loading error. So to bring that home and to not have your hard-won prize able to load it and enjoy the fruits of it, I just can't believe how crushing that must be. But not just that, to then go to your parents, the people that raised you, who were so proud in that moment in the police station as you had your fingerprints taken, and to say, Mum, Dad, the game doesn't work. It's your fault, you criminal. You've clearly done this on purpose. And to have the blame shifted to you, the shame of it all. It's like, why did I enter this competition in the first place? It's brought me nothing but pain. I don't know how you've managed to reach this point in your life as a functioning adult.
Functioning.
My heart goes out to you, sir.
So, this was a rare occasion for you to own a legitimate Spectrum game.
Yes.
Just remember, you wouldn't steal a car. But why at no point afterwards did it occur to you to find someone else you know who owns Monty on the Run, tape over the bit on the top of the tape, and copy it over? Because then you would have a legitimate bootleg.
It's fascinating.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
I was the only one that had a Specky. Everyone else had moved on. This is 92, remember? Everyone had gone on to Amigas, onto the Atari, onto their Mega Drives, and we're still rocking our little Sinclair Spectrum, and it was painful. But no, there was no one else I knew that had one at this point, so we were kind of stuck with it. And everything we'd learnt about the console was through trial and error, because Mum and Dad bought it I think they bought it in 88 second hand, and it was the big Christmas present for the family, so it was great. But they would not help because they didn't know anything about it themselves. So it's like working out, where does the mic connect to? Where does the earphone connect to? How do you load again? That was just down to us. So there's three of us all around it trying to work out what do we press. I think we did have one or two legitimate games. Ultimately, it wasn't all stolen. We had the Hobbit. We had the Hobbit. We had Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, if anyone else has ever played that, yes, it is a gaming regret, because let's face it, all we ever did was look in box, climb in box. How do you get out of the box? You can't get out of the box. So that was always just, but that had instructions. So that's how we learnt to play it. But I didn't know anyone else, so we couldn't get another copy of Monty on the Run. And yeah, parents, full stop, it's your fault. You must have broken it. We don't understand this, so it's on you.
Right, that's your lot, Digibus. Get out of here. Hey, big cheer for Digibus there. Right, can we have Andrew Middlemas here, who's going to talk to us about a space-based disappointment. I was going to make a joke about your name and tie it into the thing, but I think you should bring it up.
No, thanks. I make those jokes myself.
Fine.
Yeah, I have played plenty of terrible games over the years, but none have disappointed me more on both a financial and a personal level as Mass Effect 3. Thank you. Now, I was a massive Mass Effect fan. I loved the first game. I loved the second game. I bought into all the comics, the books, the art books, absolutely everything Mass Effect related I could get my hands on. So you can imagine my excitement for the third game. It's like, oh yes, we're finally going to take on the Reapers. We're going to see what's going on. But then, oh dear. I mean, even before the part you're probably all thinking about, even before that, I was like, what's going on? Why are these people behaving like idiots? Why have we suddenly gone over here? Why is this cool character from the book suddenly turned into an obnoxious, gravelly voiced cyborg ninja? It was just like a complete mess. All the pacing issues up the wazoo, people doing stupid things. I mean, there are some genuinely great character moments in there. I will give it credit for that. But the rest of the time, I was just sitting there thinking, why the fuck am I playing this? What's going on? And then at the end of all that, we get to the ending. Entire essays have been written about why this ending is just so embarrassingly bad. But I'll just, I could probably write, but since we're all very tight time limited here, I'm just going to say, oh my god, what a train wreck. Even with the extended cut DLC, if anything, that made it worse because it tried to paint a happy face on it. It was just. Needless to say, I would not find a more bungled finale to an epic story until like the last season of Game of Thrones or The Rise of Skywalker. For me, considering all the money that I'd invested into the franchise and like how I had absolutely invested myself in this universe and its characters, then that is for me the biggest gaming related disappointment that I've ever gone through in my entire life.
You're making me very glad that I did complete Mass Effect 2 and something else was happening when Mass Effect 3 came out and I'm just like, I haven't got time for this. And then I saw the reviews and I'm like, cool, that trilogy ended at 2.
I can understand the disappointment of being brought into something so totally that you're into all the media and you're immersing yourself in this world, and the producers of it just suddenly do a complete 180 and throw everything out that they've previously established, and everything's changed. So where am I now? It's like the second season of the Ewoks cartoon when they made Wicket a dick.
What a strange man.
So I've never played the Mass Effect games ever. Anything past 2000, I don't really know. But I will empathise with you with a little game called Renegade. Renegade, wonderful game from the arcades. Then we had a wonderful sequel, Target Renegade. And shame they never made a third one. It's a real shame. But yeah, I feel your pain there. It's as you're saying, you buy into something, you get excited about it, you get into the lore, and then something happens, and it's just a world of disappointment. So I feel for you there.
And I think we're done. And I'm only partway through Mass Effect 2, so I'm really annoyed now. Might as well just bin the whole sodding thing.
Yeah, my stop at the end of Mass Effect 2.
Oh, that was good. I'll make up. Yeah, indeed. Right, thank you, Andrew Middlemas. Right. As some of you may recall, what goes up must come down. Super Fresco makes it easy. It's Graham Brown. And he's brought his disappointment with him.
I have evidence, yes. So this was back in 1989. I was about, just about 9 years old myself, and I was always really, really big into flying at the time. I think it's probably because first time we went on holiday, we were told that we could get anything that we wanted, any toy, from the airport, and so I got this little die-cast aeroplane, and that was just, I was fixated on it for an entire week, and that was just basically my holiday. And who remembers Krypton Factor, where you had the landing challenge? Yay. That was probably the only reason why I watched Krypton Factor, and so I was really, really big into aviation. And the Amiga that we got was the Flight of Fantasy Pack, and so it came with F-29 Retaliator by Ocean, and I think it was ID Design. And great fighter plane simulator. We also ended up getting F-18 Interceptor. And so that was all the fighter stuff covered, but sometimes you also want to do the real thing and go for the real kind of domestic aviation kind of stuff. And so we used to go to a car boot every weekend, and the guy there, he was actually really good. We actually went to Father Spectrum games and stuff like that as well. He was really, really cheap. Everything was no bootlegs, no knockoffs. And so he had this A320 Airbus for the Commodore Amiga. And I think it was pretty reasonably priced as well. And it's... Oh, yes, please, thank you. And it's one of those things where you get this home, and you're only about 9 years old, and you get this box, and it comes with a manual this thick. we print out addendums like saying that the codes at Heathrow are all wrong, and you need to put different ones to what's actually written in here.
You can fly a real Airbus once you've read that.
Exactly, and that's the thing. So you spend all night reading on that. It came with a poster, it came with flight charts, it came absolutely packed to the gills, and so you're getting all that excited about this, and then you finally get around to putting it in, and you get to the title screen, and then it says, write enable the disk to continue, and that's when you think, hang on a minute, why would I need to write enable the disk to continue? This sounds a bit risky, but because we all had legitimate copies of all of our games on the Amiga back in the day, so I made sure that I switched it off for a while, made sure that there was no viruses like left in RAM or anything like that. Right, enabled the disk, popped it in, loaded the game. Well, tried to load the game, didn't work. It got as far as clip next to proceed, and then you insert disk 2, nothing happened. So that's as far as I got. So I took it back and got myself a replacement the week after, and brought that back home, and same thing again. And like I say, this guy was dead trustworthy, so it wasn't really knockoff copies, it was proper legit copies. So third time round, we managed to actually get a third copy, and he was dead sympathetic with it, and he was a really good guy. And I managed to get as far as seeing what's on the back, which is sat at the tarmac at Heathrow. And it was dead late at night, I was still at school at the time, so I thought, right, okay, at least I know it works now. I'll have another crack on with it tomorrow. And this is after making backup copies as well. And then the day later, it didn't load. And that's as far as I ever got. I never actually got to play the game at all, ever. And in fact, I think since then I've actually even tried playing on an emulator and it still wouldn't work. And yet, this only made me actually really wanted to try harder and, really get into aviation. And so fast forward 20 years later, I've got myself a really good setup on Microsoft Flight Simulator. And then 5 years later, I managed to get myself a pilot's license. So I never thought it would be easier to fly a real plane than it is to fly a virtual one.
It astounds me because I've actually encountered this game in the past as part of falling down rabbit holes for podcast research. They spent 3 years developing this game and made a sequel.
Yeah.
And yet, how many copies?
3.
Plus ROMs for the emulator. It still never worked.
Nope.
But is it actually regret? Because you've also just said that because of your frustration with this game, you did kind of end up getting even more into aviation.
Exactly. I think it's the regret that drove the success. I'm not too sure. So it does have a silver lining.
Yet again, another example of a hoped-for purchase not being able to load and get the enjoyment from. It seems to be rife amongst our ranks, and I think we've all had examples like that. My own one was a copy of School Days, which you couldn't get past the demo screen, and just hearing about all my friends enjoying it, and just I'm watching it playing itself. That's great, and that was the spectrum for you. But I'm not a teacher, so it didn't inspire me to go on for a vocation in the way that it did for you. So, in a way, is it a regret, or is it actually been the making of you?
Ooh, good question. You might be right there. Yeah.
Pay attention to this, audience.
So, Tom James' parents, you take the game back and you get a replacement. That's how it works. That's all right. So, as someone on the spectrum, I believe it was LHX Chopper or something, Gunship, the game. So you got fire a wonderful helicopter, but it had lens lock protection on it. And for those of you who don't know, lens lock is you held this bit of plastic with a distorted lens against the screen, and it would decipher a coded message on the screen. Fortunately, what I didn't know at the time is sometimes they packaged the wrong lens lock in the box. So as a kid, we spent hours and hours trying to decipher this message. You're going to put it up and it's going to say OK to make sure it worked. But we could never get to say OK, and we didn't know why for years. And then years later on, we find out it's because it was, again, it was a thing where they put the wrong code in. So I feel your pain for this. But I didn't become a helicopter pilot. And so I think you got a better deal out of this.
Yeah, possibly.
I think you've talked yourself out of winning this show. Okay, Graham, thank you very much. And gather up your prop. And props for Graham. Sorry? Yeah. Yes, and but also like props. Like, man, and he had a prop. It works on 3 levels.
There's Les.
And who else works on 3 levels but Kevin Dyson? I don't know what that means. Perhaps he'll tell us. He's a tall fella. Come on, blimey, he goes a long way up. Right.
I nearly drowned when I was 4 in an inflatable, so panic attack. So.
Hello. Yeah, that's very comfy. Right, mine is more of a culmination of things. I've got extreme sympathy with everyone who said the errors from 8-bit cassette games. Mine starts with my parents deciding that a 464 Plus looked like an Amiga. Yeah, so I did that disappointment, and I bought a lot of budget games, usually from John Menzies, so you're talking about 1990 and thereabouts, when apparently had a system where you'd go up and they would record the game onto this blank cassette, which usually ended up with a hit rate of about 50%. So it was back and forth in the shop. And it was always the same wee woman that was sitting staring at me. You try and have a wee laugh with her and she'd just go, give your take. So it was a very hit and miss element. So I finally got around to getting R-Type, and I'm bloody awful at shooters anyway. I wish it hadn't worked. Because it worked once every time. I'd play, I'd die, seconds in, that's you. Switch computer off, load it again. So like, okay, that's what's that, 20 minutes? I'll try it again. Same. So I lasted about...
What format was this on, by the way? How long was this load?
Oh, I'm talking 15, 20 minutes a time.
Oh, mate.
After about, less than a minute of actual playtime. I was persistent because I was kind of stupid then. So I just kept going. And there was zero enjoyment out of it. So eventually I got to the point that, this is it. This is just shot. This classic game that you hear, this is right up there. I said, right, just tell me about it. And that'll be me. I'll pretend that was me playing it full. It got to the point that before, for today, I was trying to play Got It and Game Pass, I think. Had to go at it. Once I died once, I couldn't play. I've actually got a psychological wall now. So that was the culmination. Just not one I'd planned, but just thinking that the games that never worked and never got to play became the greatest games in the world for me. It didn't matter what the reviews were. I think it was Blood Witch or something like that. I'm going like, I bet that was fucking brilliant. So I've not tried to look and see if that's good because it's great in my head. One of these days, I will see it. That's my disappointment.
Again, I feel your pain there. Waiting for games to load on tape just took forever. And any kind of error or if it didn't work, it was a painful process. But as you said, it gave you the ability to use your imagination. And I think that's a big part of our childhood is the graphics weren't great. The sound wasn't great. It's a bit beeps and boops. But your childhood imagination took the game so much further than it ever could be. And those were the greatest games. And I think you're thinking, right, sometimes you don't need to play the game at all. I remember pouring through magazines and looking at the screenshots and thinking, this game looks amazing. I don't know how it plays. It's probably going to play like dog poop. But I think...
He said fucking already. You can say whatever you want.
That's just a punctuation mark.
Yeah.
Poop. I think having that be part of your childhood. I think that's a lot of our childhoods in terms of imagination and disappointment. But again, we just took what we could get. So again, it's a lot of empathy here, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine the whole process of you go into John Menzies and you have to record the game onto a blank tape. So they're encouraging piracy almost. Now you've seen what can be done and you get it home and it only works every other time. How embarrassing is that to go back to the shop? Yeah, it didn't work again. Okay. And then you load it up and you play it through the first level and then you have to turn the machine off, on again, and then load the whole thing for another 20 minutes just to play the same level to die again. Yeah. And wow, that surely has done something to your soul. And I think, to be honest, Kevin, you're probably suffering from PTSD and you need to seek appropriate medical attention.
I've already stopped.
But in many ways, hasn't that prepared you for modern life and being a PC user?
Well, calm it down.
But it's always the ones that got away, though, isn't it? It's always the games that you're so desperate to play that you think that was the one, and you have had it denied. But yeah, I'm sure that one day you'll play beyond the first level. You get the help that you need, and you'll see whether it was worth going back and returning.
And I'll be able to tell other people it's playing, so they won't need.
So I'm just curious about the actual selection process when you entered that, because this whole go in, choose a game, and then get it copied to a tape is an alien concept to me, other than, we used to do it at school in the language labs because they had taped tape decks. Did you actually have covers or anything, or did they just have a list on the wall?
I think it was a bit hit and miss. You'd have the ones that looked like, okay, we ran out of covers, we'll just photocopy something scribbled on it. So some of them, you thought the ones that came with the covers were better, but they were just as likely to die on you as well. So there was no, you couldn't go in it, today's my day. It was all a good surprise.
Thank you. That is a cautionary tale about Scottish gaming. All right, lovely to hear from you. Please, back to the contestant dungeon area. The contestant area. Right. I much enjoyed being over there, just making sarcastic comments like Lou Sanderson on that Mel Gibson show. Soon we'll be summing up. The judges will have a little chat and tell you who they're backing, and then you will be voting by way of making a amount of noise. Prior to that, we have a visit from Dr. Superior Nurse. Are you in, Dr. Superior Nurse?
Hang on, let me put on my back.
Props.
This one else. Oh my God. Hang on, I'm going to trust myself.
It was a mistake. Just let it hang out. Dr. Superior Nurse.
Hello.
Hello. Talk for a short while.
Good. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Superior Nurse, as written on this beautiful medical set that I would show you if I had a third arm. Hang on. Thank you. Oh, look at that. I was only Dr. Inferior Nurse yesterday, so this is great. Right. So, the idea apparently is people will come to me with ailments, technological ailments, much like the 32X, and I will dispense some stuff which has been pre-printed on these frames that I have not read yet. So if they're hideously offensive, don't blame me, I only work here.
Do you need mic holding assistance, or are you good?
Oh, I'll be good. And by good, I mean terrible, but we'll do it anyway. I'm going to put my actual glasses on, wait for it. Now I can't see anything. Great.
I'm in Harrow.
Yes. I thought this was Aberystwyth. What's going on? Right, I'm going to take a seat here if that's all right, sir.
Yep. Great.
Oh my God, it's literally inflatable. What is this? I thought that was a joke.
I've been on a bouncy castle for the past hour. It's great.
I'm going to be so sick. My God. Well, that exists. Right then. I have here what is obviously a genuine iPad. Listen. I shall be using this for taking notes. Down there. Right. Very well. Sir, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
You have mine.
I do.
Good work, Quang. 10 points.
I'm suffering from short-term memory loss.
So, we'll. Oh, wait, these are for specific people. I didn't realise that. I should have read these beforehand. Right. I need John Wilding. There he is. How are you doing? I apologise for taking the last seat. I feel bad now. So, your problem was apparently the 32X.
Yes, sir.
You literally had a 32X.
Yes.
I must admit, I was quite gutted when I heard your story because I did a video about the 32X a few weeks ago and I didn't think of that line about those mounting plates looking like Richard Keel's teeth. And that's such a good line. I was like, oh, when I heard that. I wish I could go back in time and steal your joke, but can't be done. So, your regret was a Sega Mega Drive add-on is not just for Christmas, but close enough.
Yes, basically, yes.
That makes sense to me. So, your symptoms, according to this, fractured rods and premature next-gen envy. I think we've all suffered from that in one way, shape or form. My God. Well, here is your prescription, sir. Play Doom again, and then Metalhead, and then Knuckles Chaotix. That's good enough, innit? Here you are.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
If you hand that to the dispensary, they won't know what you're doing, so don't do that.
Right, thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Thank you for sharing your pain with the audience. Next up, we need Tom James. Digibus.
Hello.
Hello. So your regret was, as quite correctly stated here, Monty didn't run. That's a beautiful bit of wordplay. I appreciate that.
Gorgeous.
Well, we feel your pain and your symptoms, which are signal processing fixation and intergenerational friction. Again, something we pretty much all suffer from, I fear. But your prescription, a blank tape and forbidden map of St Albans Market. Don't show the police when they inevitably arrest you again. Thank you very much. Take that and do what you will with it.
Thank you very much.
Next up, it is Andre Middlemas.
That's Andrew, it turns out.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were called Andrew yesterday. I thought something got on there, yeah? Right.
Well, if anybody knows me online, they know I go by many names. So just call me Herbal Flirt McGinty.
That's perfect. Yeah. So you are Elon Musk, right? We've got that down. Right. So your regret: good shepherd, better shepherd, bad shepherd. I would say I feel your pain, but I haven't played a Mass Effect game, so I'll just nod and pretend I know.
Well, to be fair, that's what most psychologists do.
Shh. Don't charge 160 quid an hour if people know that. Right. So, your symptoms were personal investment repaid with punch to gut stroke wallet. Again, something we all pretty much understand. Your prescription? A ceremonial disposal in the Babylon 5 video toaster. It was made on Amigas. Well, part of Series 1. There we are, sir. Please feel free to do something with that. The eBay? I don't know. Good luck.
I'll hang it up on my wall with pride.
You can do that. But please don't, because it'll basically knock the value of your house down. Right. Thank you very much, sir. Take care. Cheers, sir. Next up, may we have Graham Brown, please. Graham Brown. I feel so underdressed. Look how smart this is. Like Johnny Cash's richer brother. My God. Right.
I was born in this suit.
It's a pilot suit. Okay. A stealth suit, undetectable to enemy radar. Right. Your regret was replaced broken wings Learn to fly, but remain grounded. Oh, that sounds like, I don't know, a Cradle of Filth song or something. Symptoms. All test results negative. Car boot dealer exonerated. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's written down and there's a picture of me, so I'm going to nod. Yeah. Yeah. Your prescription, sir? Mr. T's Airways. Oh, this is good. Mr. T Airways Gold Card. Best of Craptros Volume 2.
Sounds delightful.
It's always that bit of music from the Red Sector mega demo anyway. There we are. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda of whatever this is, Kevin Dyson, inventor of the over-engineered vacuum cleaner. Hello there. You live here now. I don't know how I'm going to get off this thing. I'm going to have to get somebody to jump on that and just leap into the audience. Yeah. Right. So your regret was exclusive to John Menzies and Eidos, R-Type Permadeath Edition. Yeah, it's the first of the roguelikes, the hardcore R-Type. My God. So, the symptoms were tape deck fatigue and ongoing aversions to newsagents. Again, something we can all feel in this day and age. Prescription, Dark Souls, half-price chocolate, and a lump hammer. Strictly in that order. There we are, sir.
Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Cheers. Oh my God, this one's blank. I'm confused and yet excited.
It's all blank.
They're all blank.
They're all blank now. That's good.
Segment's over.
Hey! I feel like there's probably something I should have remembered to do with those, and I've totally forgotten. And now I feel like a fool.
I'm calling it. Hey, you can give these out.
We can give them away free to passing urchins. I don't know.
I guess so, right. Thank you, Dr. Superior Nurse.
You are most welcome. I'm going to try and get up now.
Hold on. You realise this is the first sort of proper conversation we've ever had under these bizarre, contrived situations after 7 years. That was the 30. No, it wasn't. That was Saturn's Got Talent. Oh, good on. There will be voting soon. We'll ask you, and then we'll ask you. But what's this? Oh my! It's former Sega America CEO, the late Bernie Stolar, joining us from Retro Heaven. He also used to work at Mattel. Good work on that Barbie movie. What's your problem, sir?
What's your problem?
Oh, okay.
Who has hijacked my format?
The format, the Saturn's got.
Format.
Yeah.
Mine.
Can
Stop.
We can't use. Oh. Through the curtain, everyone.
Stop.
In. Mind your head on the support structure. Rest in peace.
I've signed up with the opposition.
Oh, good lord. Nintendo? All right. Thank you, the late Bernie Stolar. R.I.P. Oh,
See you afterwards.
time to retool. It's any Dreamcast will do. Judges, contestants, get out. Mind your head on the support structure. Contestants in the hole. Judges on the bouncy castle. Let me know when everyone's through. I can barely see. Careful, John. Nice one. Judges, who are you backing for the sobbiest of the sob stories here at Any Dreamcast Will Do?
Individually or collectively?
I don't know. It's not on the card.
What they're talking about, I will talk about our special Mega Star Prize to be won by one of you. Or I would do, but it was a fabulous recording contract with Venus Records, not to be confused with Venus Records, that's a different thing. But it hasn't arrived. That's no bad thing, because it is not worth the paper it would have been printed on. Sensorium Girly Box have not seen a penny from Venus Records after all that time. But we'll find something in one of these bins, I'm sure. You know what? I'm going to go through this bin while they're talking about it. Here we go. No. There we are. What's a sack of assorted gaming shite? One of you's going to have that. Judges, it is time.
You go first.
Yeah, I think you would.
Oh, okay. My personal choice is John and the Sega 32X. Because it's heartbreaking, and I still feel sad about it now. Not even like for a bit of a joke. I'm just like, no, that really touched me, and I'm just like, oh man, is this going to turn into a therapy session? Because I can feel inner thoughts about my own hardware regrets coming up. But no, so that one's just stuck with me. Like, you all have amazing stories. At least one of you has got a career out of it, so I really don't think that counts.
Yeah, you've very much lost.
Yeah, you kind of lost it for yourself, really. But yeah, John and his 32X story, that's just stuck with me in my heart and will stick with me after today.
Oh, I think all of today's contestants have shown impressive amounts of regretful purchases.
That is true. Applause, please. I forgot I was hosting. I'm not good at it.
But for me, there's one that stood out beyond the others, and because it was a tale that was more like a Shakespearean tragedy, really. And for me, that was Tom of the Digibus fame, who could have so easily risked being part of an identity lineup by missing his fingerprints.
ACAB.
There was so much wrong with that. So yeah, it's Tom for me.
For me, I'm going to highlight Kevin Dyson for the R-Type loading era, because there was a child with persistence. Again, we didn't have much money. We had one game, and it crashed every time you played it, so you go back through and load it, but you persisted, and you tried again and again and again and again. And it makes you stronger for it, I think. Makes you stronger for it, so I'm going with Kevin here.
All right, there you go. You've heard the things. I'm going to do a recap, and I don't know quite what voice to do it in. It was going to be, Graham, but we've got a Graham. So that doesn't make any sense. So I think maybe the older John Briggs' weakest link voice. So I'll give you a recap first, and then I'll ask for cheers and things. Will it be John Wilding and his 32X disappointment? Will it be Tom Digibus James with his Monty on the Run R-Type loading error? R-Tape loading error. I fucked it up. Andre Middlemas with the middling Mass Effect. Graham Brown with his career-making disappointment. Or Kevin Dyson with his R-Type loading error. That's the joke I meant to make. I'm going to call the name out again. There'll be polite applause for everyone, but also cheer loudly for the person you feel has won the 32X Digicast failed. John Wilding. Tom James. Digibus. I might be stacking the deck here a bit. Andrew Middlemas. They're standing out of order and on my card now. Kevin Dyson. Oh. And Graham Brown. Get out, Right. I don't think there's any need to do that again. I call that Kevin Dyson is our winner. But everyone's a winner on this show, because what we've all won is a fantastic once-in-a-lifetime and one-way trip through Brannigan's Vortex. hidden behind you. Everyone, into the vortex. No? Kevin, take your bag of gaming tat and go into the vortex. Go on! Yes, he's in the vortex. Graham, into the vortex. Digibus, in the vortex. Andrew, vortex. John Wilding, into the vortex. Judges, you're going in the vortex, you know you are. It will scab up your skin and knock your teeth out of shape. I speak from personal experience, but it's just cosmetic. I also will enter the vortex. Thanks. Bye, everyone. Mind your head on the vortex.
That's it, folks.